Metta is defined as loving kindness or loving friendliness, and there are different ways to translate it. It is the first virtue of the immeasurables, or sublime abidings, or other translations of the Brahmaviharas or Apamana. These four specific traits, metta, karuna, mudita, and upekkha, translate to loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and serenity, or equanimity. These are known as the pure heart, the emotions of the pure heart. And when your heart's finally clear of desire, aversion, and delusion, the three poisons that perpetuate the wheel of samsara, the causation of existence, the emotional state of the citta, the heart, or the mind heart, becomes a mixture or an expression of one of these four traits. And all around, these traits are emotions of loving kindness. So loving kindness, speaking generally, you can use it as an umbrella term, but they also specify into these other similar related emotions. So essentially, it's the emotional atmosphere of an enlightened mind as it operates through these four different modes. Metta is that fundamental sense of well-wishing toward every living being. It's like the basis where we're able to simply wish people and beings well. So it's really a quality of kindness. And one thing that's crucial to understand is that even though we use the term love in phrases like loving kindness or loving friendliness, it's actually more about kindness. Ajahn Sumedho frequently pointed out how we often confuse loving with liking. Even though you're capable of loving something without liking it a bit. So he'd emphasize that practicing metta isn't about trying to force yourself to like everything. It isn't about trying to manufacture a sense of sweetness when things are, when you feel bitter. Or rather, it's about being kind even to the things that aren't likable. Kind and having enough respect and love that you care about the well-being of something. You have compassion for all beings. Ultimately, we need to develop our love to that extent that we can still feel compassion and love towards, malevolent and harmful, unskillful, or disgraceful beings and people. So that requires comprehension. And if you have a garden, you might have many delicate seedlings that live in your soil. And maybe there's, however, a neighborhood rabbit that comes along every now and then and likes to feed on your seeds. So you feel protective towards the seeds in this garden, and therefore it might be hard to like the rabbit. So you take action to encourage it to go away. You shoo it away, but you don't harm it because you have metta for it. So it doesn't mean you don't have metta for it when you don't like it. You can say that you love all beings, you wish them well, including this rabbit, but you don't have to be fond of it when it's eating your seeds. And sometimes metta is mistaken for trying always to have a positive attitude or an attitude of liking everything. But this is a misunderstanding, because with mundane loving kindness, it has more to do with kindness. And the way it's described is really having two aspects. One aspect is receptive, which serves as the basis of metta. And this is a radical acceptance. It's an open-heartedness to the moment. And that quality of kindness or open-heartedness is the true sense of metta. Everything belongs, and even the rabbit who wants to eat the seeds belongs. Then the other aspect to metta is the expressive side, which is like an out-breath. So likewise, in this metaphor, the receptive aspect is a breath in, and that breath brings in a sense of acceptance and belonging. then the response to this is the out-breath, may all beings be at ease, may all beings be well, may all beings be happy. So that quality of wishing well and having benevolence towards all beings is a result of that acceptance. They work together. Now, when this is developed to a higher degree, loving kindness becomes a supernormal or superconscious emotion that every human being needs to experience. It is a divine emotion that belongs to the human kingdom, which we have not yet fully realized as an animal species, as an instinctual species with survival traits. But the more you can feel it, the better it is for you. It requires a clear definition because many people have truly never felt it. They might have experienced moments of friendliness or personal attraction, some fondness, but it's almost always conditional. Many humans never feel the unconditional opening of the heart. And this is what I'm talking about when loving kindness is developed to a higher degree. It's unconditional, but it's genuine. There is an authentic feeling of love and compassion and kindness. You have the ability to look people and creatures in the eye and smile at them all the time, even if you don't like them. But it's because they basically deserve it. It's a good thing to do. It's always good for yourself when you're doing it, even though others can't always receive it. Now, in the Buddhist tradition, this state is called the divine abiding. So the poetic name for this is the Brahmavihara. A Brahma is a heavenly being or a god, and these gods dwell in heaven. This concept is similar to the mansions of heaven described in the Christian tradition, and these Brahmas also abide in the divine abidings. So, of course, they live there because they've developed these characteristics. That's why they're there. They belong there. Those are splendid and beautiful dwellings. This description helps the human imagination. Humans like to live in spacious, beautiful homes, and the word vihara translates to dwelling. It's a space that you move into emotionally. This state is not produced by the intellect. It is an emotion. You can only experience the divine through emotions. You move in and live in this beautiful space. Some ancient texts describe these heavenly abodes. They are described to be radiantly beautiful and multicolored mansions, sometimes decorated with many things, gems, jewels, lotus flowers, of course, lotus petals. And they're kind of transparent or translucent and floating in the atmosphere, in the heavens. And they're, in fact, if you study cosmology, there are, I should say, the heavens in general, there are layers to them, and they're all just many of the different dimensions are just, they have their aspects related to the physical world. They are associated with the physical world because they're like duplicates or layers of the physicality. So there is a heaven on earth, which is the Christian Eden. And this is the simple heaven that the gnomes and the undines and occultism abide. The elemental Buddhas, elemental entities. And then there is, in fact, a heaven in the atmosphere. And so, of course, it's not, none of this is physical. You don't see it physically, but it's associated with these levels of the physicality. So there is a heaven in the atmosphere, a heaven in the clouds. And this is it, nirvana, the Brahma heavens, and many layers to it. So it's good to use your imagination to picture them. The beings who live there are extraordinarily beautiful. They're inconceivably beautiful. And again, if you know anything about cosmology, most beings can't perceive phenomenon or phenomena at a higher level than they exist at. So sometimes when you go to these different places or you see higher beings, if you're in the presence of Buddhas or angels, you can't see them the way that they really are in their formless state or in their beautiful state. You just see an ordinary person, or you see an ordinary village. You don't realize you're actually in nirvana at times. So nothing in the human world can compete with their radiance. It is poetic language too, but there is it's not entirely symbolic. It's a result of just higher frequencies, expressions of form. And this poetry is a form of reality, just like music. So listening to music can transport you and change your mood. And parts of nirvana are characterized by music because they're so frequential. There is music constantly going on, and it's ineffable, and it's immaculate, inconceivable, as I said. So for many, this feels more real than ordinary life, the music. Most people need visual arts or music to reach a higher state of consciousness. We need to be moved that way. We need an external stimulus to develop our emotions, oftentimes. So it's a bit of a shame that we can't spend time without, we can't spend time there easily without some kind of help. So developing the divine abidings means learning to enter these heavens, and no heaven or dimension of reality exists apart from the emotional dimension and from the mind. So of course, it is a state of mind, a state of consciousness, but it is also more than a state. It's an absolute reality. Pain and depression are also realities. These divine emotions are reached only through experience. They are ultimately real, perceivable. All religious talk about heaven is really just describing layers of this state. In modern times, there's a lot of skepticism. People try to find heaven through a telescope or a microscope. They ask if it's a quantum phenomenon. But this is like medieval thinkers wondering how many angels fit on the tip of a pin or a needle. These are very rational inquiries, but they often miss the point because angels do not dance on pins. They dance in translucent and full color mansions. So you may want to join them in that song. You must liberate your heart. It shouldn't be so suppressed. Many people walk around with emotional repression. They feel they can't break the boundaries of their ordinary identity, and this is a real shame. We need to be liberated from these various limitations, limited thinking, limited beliefs, limited identity. We have very strict ways of seeing ourselves, and we feel very individualized. We don't feel one with the universe, one with all. So we should feel comfortable having a transcendent kindness for all beings, and this, of course, has to be developed. Getting used to being kind all the time, looking people in the eye, smiling, and it includes kindness to yourself. And it's good to use your imagination. You may want to be dramatic. You can practice this alone in your bedroom or in the forest. And nature is a great way to develop this emotion because of the serenity that it has. So do whatever it takes to feel it. Loving kindness is often taught through books and lectures, and it can be very dry. People say, "May I be well," or "May others be well." But these words can feel empty, so you should find words that really resonate with feeling for you. Use words that are succulent. delicious even. Use poetic language if it helps you. You don't have to cling to a specific method. What you want is results. So it comes from a yearning for liberation and practice. You must yearn for the highest state of human nature. This is what we're developing, our humanity. It's a tragedy that people live their entire lives without experiencing this profound goodwill. They don't know what it's like. Everything that we experience is conditioned. We only get kind of excited when something new happens. We get something, we do something, we achieve something, but we can't develop it from ourselves unconditionally. And it's usually not, it's usually a very coarse feeling. It's not really what loving kindness is. So let's not miss the chance to have a glimpse of dwellings of the Brahmas. We can join them in their beauty. And this is a possibility for every human. You can make this the primary practice of your entire life because it offers endless benefits.